morning, friends. We'll start with today's lecture. In the previous lecture, we have studied the location of constant planes and the differential elements. Yes, when the differential elements are formed, that is, suppose the 2 points are separated by a small distance in the space, then they are separated by a small distance, so there forms the differential elements such as differential length, differential volume, and the differential surface areas that we have seen, and that is very much essential for the electromagnetic theory. Then next, in the other coordinate system, that is cylindrical coordinate system and spherical coordinate system, the differential elements they also play a very vital role. So we should be in a position to identify what actually these differential elements are and how to calculate these differential elements, right? Okay, today in the lecture 4 we'll solve few numericals, right? Then we'll see the one of the vector multiplication, that is dot product. Okay. Yes, yesterday you can solve this. Just I will not solve this. Just I will give the hint and I will leave you. Okay, before proceeding, I will take the pen. Okay, fine. Okay, given 3 points in Cartesian coordinate system, 3 points are given A, B, C. Find vector from A to C. Already you know this, so I will not concentrate much here. So vector RAC means capital vector RAC. Apply the distance formula and find out vector RAC. So this is the answer for vector RAC. You will get this. Then find out unit vector from B to A. Before proceeding to find out unit vector from B to A, first find out vector RB to A, not A to B. There is a lot of difference between A to B and B to A. The direction is reversed. So first find out RBA. First find out this. Then go for the unit vector A from B to A, not A to B, B to A. So apply the mathematical definition of unit vector, the vector RBA divided by its magnitude. So this is the unit vector ABA. This is the answer you have to get. Then we have to find out distance from B to C. Before proceeding to find out distance from B to C, first find out the vector B to C, distance vector B to C, RBC. First find out this vector RBC. Then you want distance, right? So distance is equal to distance from B to C. B to C is equal to magnitude of the vector RBC. Find out the magnitude. So find out the magnitude, you will get the answer, and it turns out to be 13.6747. Yes, just I am giving the hint for the problem. Later on you can solve it. The vector from A. Okay, one of you can take the snapshot of this and you can put it in the group. Later on other people will note down and they will try to solve it. The vector from next they have asked to find out the vector from A to the midpoint of the straight line B to C. Yes, there are 3 points they have given. So let me draw it. It's not essential diagram, but still let me draw it. Just roughly I am drawing A, B, C. What they have asked? The vector from A to the midpoint of the straight line joining B to C. The midpoint of the line joining straight, this is the midpoint. Let me call it as D. First find out the midpoint. So if just I'll give general formula x1. Let me assume that the coordinates of B, they have given the coordinates of B here, but I will take the general coordinates x1, y1, z1. Let me assume that the coordinates of C are x2, y2, and z2. Okay, then we have to find out the midpoint of the line B and C. So in order to find out the coordinates of D, how to find out x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma y1 plus y2 divided by 2, comma z1 plus z2 divided by 2. This will give the coordinates of D, and that is the midpoint of BC. Then the vector from A to the midpoint of the straight line joining B to C, that is fourth one. So you have to find out R A to D vector. That's all. That is has been asked. Okay, you find out this and the vector, the answer you will get this, right? Okay, I will leave this problem to you people. You solve it. Okay, next. I will not tell much here. We should be knowing what is vector components and unit vector. Unit vectors we have seen, and notation of unit vectors also we have seen, and how to represent any given vector. If it may be velocity vector, force vector, whatever it is. So first already, okay, just I will take one vector here. Let me take any general vector, vector A. Vector A. So I can write it as AX into A general vector, AX into AX vector plus AY into AY vector plus az into az vector. Is it fine? If I want to be very specific, I can take any vector here. Just I will take it 2ax plus 3ay plus 4az. This is specific vector, but I have taken the general vector. So here we have to, which are the vector components or components of a vector. Here in this ax, ay, az, we call them as vector components or components of a vector, also called as scalar components. Vector components are scalar components. Vector components are components of a vector, we have to say specifically, and are scalar components. Here the scalar components are 2, 3 and 4. And this ax, ay, az are unit vectors, also called as base vectors. Then I want to represent a force vector, for example. In the rectangular coordinate system, three-dimensional rectangular coordinate system, I want to represent force vector, general vector. So the force vector, I will take f, letter f. F vector is suitable letter I have to take. F vector is equal to, so fx into ax. So the magnitude of force fx along x direction. This is the magnitude of force along x direction. I will use fx into ax plus fy into ay plus fz into az. Is it fine? Okay. Fx, fy, fz are the components of the vector along x direction, y direction and z direction, and ax, ay, az are unit vectors. Similarly, we can represent a velocity vector, general velocity vector. So vx into ax plus vy into ay plus vz into az. Is it fine? Okay. So this is the representation of any general vector. This is force vector and this is velocity vector, right? Okay, fine. Next, these two problems you have to do it. So you take the screenshot of this and you can put it in the group so that others will also come to know. You have to do it. Already we have solved such problems. First problem, specify the unit vector extending from origin towards the point G. So O to G. So unit vector AG you have to find out. AG. So you find it. This is the answer. It is given here. Then points MN and P are given. Find out RMN vectors here. In the textbook I already told the notation. See here. If I write this RMN vector, I will write like this. RMN and I will put bar over it. But in the textbook what they will do? They will bold. They will make this letter bold. It means that it is a vector, right? And the subscripts starting point and ending point M and N. So if I write it manually, I have to write RMN and put bar over it, right? So this is the distance vector. Find it. So RMN, you will get, this is the answer for it. Then find out RMP, RMN and then add these both vectors, so you will get this answer. So RM vector. RM vector is the position vector. You know what is position vector. So find out RM vector first. RM vector, then find out this first, then take the magnitude of RM vector, position vector, then find out the magnitude. So the magnitude turns out to be 2.45 here, and find out the unit vector from AMP. Once again I told A is bold, means it is a vector, right? AMP vector. So next find out 2 times RP. First find out RP vector, multiply by 2 and keep it. First find out Rn vector and multiply by 3 and keep it. Take the difference. After taking difference you will get the vector. Then find out the magnitude. So finally you will get this answer for that. So magnitude means you will get this answer 15.56, and this is for D, AMP. So these two problems you have to solve. Okay, next I will come to the important concept, that is vector field. Already we have seen what is field. Field, it is a function which connects an arbitrary origin to a general point in free space. Means whatever the point I locate in the space, it is always with respect to some coordinate system, right? Rectangle. If I take the rectangular coordinate system, I will take the origin as a reference point. Means arbitrary origin to a general point in the free space, right? Okay, fine. 1 minute. I will come. I hope there is a disturbance. The people are talking. I will come. we have defined field. Field is the function, it is a function of a vector which will connect from an arbitrary point. Arbitrary point means that is nothing but arbitrary origin to a point in the free space. For example, I'll show you. See here, if I consider one arbitrary origin, so arbitrary origin rectangular coordinate system is 0, 0, 0. Then to the point in the free space, that point can lie here, that point in the free space anywhere, it can lie anywhere. So field is defined as the function which will connect the arbitrary origin to a point in the free space, right? So the field can be two types, scalar field and vector field. Vector field is associated with the direction, scalar field has a magnitude. So next we will not concentrate much on the scalar field, we will concentrate on the vector field. What is vector field? So here we define vector field, it is a vector function of a position vector. Okay, fine. Here O to A, RA is the position vector. So I want the vector field from O to A. So this is the position vector RA. So let me take one letter, any letter, G of RA vector. So vector function of a position vector, this is overall vector, right? Vector function of a position vector. So the vector field is defined as the vector function of a position vector. Here we have taken the position vector as R here. The vector field is represented as G of R. In the textbook they will write like this. So but while we write, we have to make use of bars. So it is a vector function of a position vector. And this vector field, both the magnitude and direction of the function will vary throughout the region. If I consider the region means the space, right? If I move from one point to another point in the free space, both the magnitude and direction changes. For this I will give one example, that is velocity of water in the ocean, that I will tell you later. Before proceeding with the example of vector field, you should understand here. Then I have written scalar field. Let me take letter T in order to define scalar field. It is written as T of R. By looking at this, I should write like this, T of. So scalar field is defined as, it is a scalar function of a position vector. Scalar function of a position vector. So we will not concentrate much on the scalar field. We will concentrate on the vector field here. So for that I will take the example velocity of water in the ocean, right? So I will take the help of coordinate system. I will assume that, okay, before explaining you people, I will draw the diagram. X-axis, Y-axis, Z-axis. Okay, let me assume a river here, okay, or some ocean, a river, whatever it is. Is it fine? Okay, recording slide has moved. Okay, I'll shift it here. 1 minute. Okay, fine. This is the surface of the water. And the water, the bottom, this is the depth. It is along negative Z axis. This is the depth of the water. Then I want to find out the velocity of the water in the ocean. Let me assume this is east direction, this is east, and this is west, and this is north, and south is towards negative x axis, right? East, west, north, south. I will assume that the water is flowing in the north direction. I want to find out velocity of water. In x direction. X direction or north direction, north, because along x direction I have taken the direction as north, right? So I want to find out what is the velocity of water in x direction. So okay, but I have taken the coordinate system. You can observe here the origin, the coordinates of origin are 0, 0, 0, and this origin and the plane, xy plane, is on the surface of the water, and z is perpendicular to the surface of the water. This picture should be very clear for you people. Then I want to find out what is the velocity of the water at the surface. Then next I want to find out at 50 meter what is the velocity, at 100 meter below the surface of the water what is the velocity. So I am considering different points, means I am going depth. So as already we told, the vector field means it will vary in both in magnitude as well as direction in the region or space. Means in the region or space means here the entire ocean, right? It may be from depth to the surface, right? I can take point anywhere and I can find out the velocity of the water either at the surface, at the bottom 50 meters below, or 100 meters, 200, and so on, right? Okay, first I want to represent the velocity vector, general velocity vector. So I will write velocity vector, general velocity vector I am writing Vx into Ax plus Vy into Ay plus Vz into Az. This is the velocity vector, general velocity vector, right? Then another, I want to make use of the notation of vector field. So what I will do, Vx of r, position vector, function of rx, something rx vector, plus Vy, sorry, I will rewrite once again, Vx of position vector, let me take general position vector r vector into Ax, I should not leave this unit vector, I should write it, plus Vy into, it is a function of position vector, into Ay vector, plus V of Vz of r vector, function of position vector, into Az vector. If I want to write the vector field specifically, Vx means it is a scalar function of a position vector, because Vx, Vy, Vz are scalar components. They should not be vectors. They are scalar components. Vx, Vy, Vz, right, are components of a vector. But since in this example I assume the water is flowing only in the x direction, it is not flowing in y direction or z direction. I am assuming that the water is flowing in the x direction or north direction. Means these two terms, y and z, they will be nullified. Okay. What I am left with is the total velocity of water along x direction is given by Vx of r into Ay vector. Okay, but this is a general vector, but to be specific, they have given this is the velocity of the water in the x direction. So here I have written for my reference. So this is the velocity they have given. I will write it here, 2 into e to the power of z. This is one example, it can be anything, z by 100 into Ax vector. You can observe here there is only x component, Ax, Ay and Az are absent, means the velocity of the water is flowing in the x direction or north direction. Then I want to find out at surface of the water, at surface. So what is the at surface, what is the value of z? At surface the value of z is 0 at the surface, here at the origin, because I have assumed the xy plane on the surface of the water and z is perpendicular to the surface of the water. At z equal to 0, substitute z equal to 0 in the above equation. So the velocity what I get is 2 meters per second. Just okay, I will write the vector first, 2 Ax, because substitute z equal to 0 here, this will be 1, so 2 Ax vector. If I want magnitude, the magnitude is, just take the magnitude of velocity vector, so it is nothing but 2 meters per second, 2 meters per second. Then similarly at the depth of 100 meters I will take, at the depth of 100 meters, at the depth of 100 meters the value of z, it is going in the negative z direction, so z is minus 100, because at the depth it is not in the positive z direction. So I want to find out velocity, substitute value of z equal to minus 100 here, e to the power of minus 100 by 100 e to the power of minus 1 I will get, you calculate. So here for my reference I have written, so if you calculate you will get 0.736 into Ax. But if I want the magnitude, so the magnitude of the velocity vector is 0.736 meters per second, 0.736 meters per second. You can observe this is a very good example of vector field, because you can observe at the surface the velocity is higher, yes, 2 meters per second. As I go to the depth, bottom of the ocean, the velocity decreases, it is 0.736 meters per second. The direction is also changing, because I am going down, I am moving from one point to another point below the water, so direction is changing as well as magnitude is also changing. The magnitude of the surface at the surface, the magnitude of velocity of the water at the surface is higher, that is 2 meters per second, and the magnitude of velocity of the water at the depth of 100 meters, sorry, at the depth of 100 meters, it is 0.736, the velocity has reduced. So this is one very good example of the vector field. I hope you understood this. Okay, next I will try to solve this problem with respect to the vector field. Yes, a vector field S vector is expressed, see, while reading please observe my wordings. I will read like this here, a vector field, I will read it as S vector, right? Don't write it as S, simply S, because it is bold. A vector field S vector is expressed in Cartesian coordinates as S vector is equal to, this is the S vector they have given, I will not read out this. First part A, what they have asked, evaluate S vector at point P. What is the vector at point P they have asked, and determine a unit vector that gives the direction of S vector at point P. Part C, specify the surface f of x y z on which the magnitude of s vector is 1. Okay, we'll solve one by one. Okay. Okay, first I will take whatever the vector they have given, I will rewrite once again. S vector is equal to, as per my convenience I will write because they have not written properly, 125 divided by, so I will write like this, divided, it will be very clear for me if I write like this, x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square plus z plus 1 whole square. Yes, this they have put it in a bracket. Okay, let me put it. Okay, I hope yes, I have taken correctly. Then multiplied by into in the numerator. This is in the numerator, that is x minus 1 into ax. So I'll make use of another bracket here, plus y minus 2 into ay vector plus z plus 1 into az vector. Fine. This is the s vector they have given, and initially part A what they have asked, find out, evaluate s vector at point P. S vector at point P, at point P. I'll write like this, at point P, that is s vector, just simply I'll write at point P. Simply P I will write, it indicates s vector at point P, but have to put bar. So point P is given. P is having the coordinates of 2, 4, 3. So the value of x is 2, y is 4, and z is 3. Substitute the value of x, y, z in the above expression in the s vector. Substitute the value of x, wherever x comes, substitute by 2, wherever y comes, substitute by 4, wherever z comes, substitute by 3. So finally you will get this answer, whatever the answer is here. 5 point calculate, substitute in the above equation the values of x, y, z. You will get the answer as 5.95 ax. Here the answer for my reference I have written here. You will get this, just you can see here. Yes, 5.95 ax plus 11.90 ay plus 23.8 az. So you will get, this is the s vector at point P. Then part B, what they asked, part B, part A is clear. Then part B, determine a unit vector that gives the direction of s vector at point P. Means they have asked the unit vector, so I'll start here somewhere. Okay. Part B, so determine a unit vector that gives the direction of s vector at point P. S vector at point P already I have here in part A, so I want to find out what is the direction of s vector at point P. A, if I can use this notation, A at point P, or A of, I can use this also, A of s vector at point P. Okay, let me take A at point P. I can, okay, I'll use some notation here. So the vector is s vector at point P divided by the magnitude of s vector at point P. So this is by definition of unit vector, right? Okay, or else if you are getting confused, you can write s and subscript P also, A subscript S subscript P, so that it will be very much clear. A at unit vector in the direction of s vector at point P, so it will be very clear if you write like this. So s vector at point P already we calculated, here it is there in part A, and take the magnitude of it. Here s vector at point P is the same thing, so I'll put the bracket and I'll take this entire, I will not write it, divided by means this entire thing, just I will round it off. This should come here, this should come here, right? S vector at point P divided by magnitude. Magnitude means you know how to calculate the magnitude, under root of 5.95 whole square plus 11.90 whole square plus 23.8 whole square. So you will get the unit vector, and here if you simplify it, so you will get this answer here. Just I will round it here. This is the unit vector, s vector, the unit vector in the direction of s vector at point P. This is the answer you will get. Is it fine? Then coming to the part C, just you concentrate on this part C. Specify the surface f of x, y, z on which magnitude of s vector is 1. He has given, they have given magnitude of s vector is 1. Magnitude of s vector is equal to 1. And we want to specify the surface. What actually that surface at wherever the magnitude of s vector is 1, what is the surface in terms of x, y, z, function of x, y, z. So s vector, yes, they have given here, I have written here, just observe here, this is the s vector, then I have to take the magnitude of S vector. This is S vector and I should equate it to 1. So I'll do it here. Observe here. While before doing this, yes, this S vector, just observe here, this entire term is there, no? 125 divided by x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square plus z plus 1 whole square. This I will call it as, for my reference, because I want to reduce the calculations. For my reference, I will call this entire thing as some letter A. Instead of writing 125, this entire big term, I will call it as A. A into, just I will multiply, what I will get, S vector, I will rewrite the S vector. S vector, I will rewrite it. So instead of writing this big term, I will write it as A, and I will multiply the A with this factor with x minus 1, and I will write it and separate. So A into x minus 1 into Ax, I am rewriting the S vector, plus A into, see here, A means this big term, 125 divided by x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square plus z plus 1 whole square. A into y minus 2 whole square, sorry, y minus 2 into ay, not whole square. Next, a into z plus 1, a into z plus 1 into az vector. Okay, is it fine? Then what we have to make use of the data given. Magnitude of S vector is 1. So I will take the magnitude of S vector. Magnitude of S vector is equal to under root of component square. You know this, right? Under root of a square into this, under root of a square into x minus 1 whole square, plus just I have to take, these are the components. A into x minus 1 is a scalar component, or a component of a vector. A into y minus 2 is a scalar component. A into z plus 1 is a scalar. Take the square roots of all these things, square of all these things. So a square into y minus 2 whole square plus a square into z plus 1 whole square, and equate it to 1, because they are given the magnitude of S vector is equal to 1, right? So square on both the sides, square on both the sides. So this square root will get cancelled if I square on both the sides. 1 square is nothing but 1, squaring both sides, 1 square is 1. So I will take a square common out of it, a square common from this. So x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square plus z plus 1 whole square is equal to 1. So I can leave it here only. This is the surface, but we'll simplify it. 1 minute. Yes, I am squaring both sides. This is a square. So I will write what is a. Here I have, right? What is a? We have it here. 1 minute. Okay, let it be. It's correct only. Okay. Which implies, what is a square? A is 125, right? A is this entire term, big term. So 125 square divided by this entire thing I'll write x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square plus z plus 1 whole square, but whole square they are given, so this is square into this term, this remaining term I have to write, this one, this entire term I have to write here, x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square. I hope you are following what I am doing. Z plus 1 whole square equated to 1, equal to 1. Observe this term, this entire thing, let me call it as b square, and this is b. So this will get cancelled, this entire term and square will get cancelled. What I am left out with, 125 square is equal to, take this term that side. If you want the textbook answer, what they have given, see here, they have given, this is the textbook answer, 125 is equal to. So take this term that side and take the square root, you will get the final answer. Actually I could have not squared it, but no problem, I squared it. Once again I'll take the square root on both sides. So finally I will get 125 is equal to, take the square root of this also, so root of, I'll get this root of, write down the final answer, x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square plus z plus 1 whole square. So this is the surface in terms of x, y, z. This is general surface where magnitude of s vector will be 1. This is the answer, right? Part C. So you can tally the answer here from the textbook, this one, right? Under root of x, this is the answer. Okay, I hope you understood the problem based on the vector field. Okay, the same problem is repeated here in this slide. Okay, I will not concentrate much here. The next, vector multiplication. We have seen there are three types of vector by a scalar, already we have seen. Then next there are two types of, if I want to multiply purely the vectors, then either I will go for dot product, also called as scalar product. Then second vector multiplication is cross product, or also called as vector product. First we will see the dot product, right? So dot product, then the mathematical definition of the dot product, here it is written, the vector A dot vector B is equal to the magnitude of vector A multiplied by the magnitude of vector B and the cosine of the angle between vector A and vector B, cos theta AB. Then how to define it? So the dot product of two vectors is defined as multiplication of their magnitudes of the two vectors, vector A and vector B, and the cosine of the angle between them. This is the definition. Just by looking at the mathematical equation we can define it. The dot product of two vectors is defined as the multiplication of the magnitudes of the two vectors and the cosine of the angle between them. And one more thing, in the green box I have put, the dot product of two vectors is always a scalar quantity. If I multiply two vectors, if I take the dot product of two vectors, it is always a scalar quantity. I will get some magnitude, right? Don't associate any direction whenever I use the dot product. And there are several properties of dot product, right? Okay, one by one we will see. 7 to 8 properties are there. Suppose if the two vectors are parallel to each other, so parallel to each other means vector A and vector B, and these two vectors are parallel to each other, right? They are parallel to each other. Just take a railway track, right? The two tracks are parallel to each other. So if the two tracks are parallel to each other, then what is the angle between the two vectors? Theta is 0 degree. There is the angle, because you coincide A vector, B vector with A and measure the angle, it is 0 degree, right? So theta is 0. Then use this mathematical definition of dot product. Cos 0 is 1. So it is not, the dot product is nothing but A dot B vector is equal to just multiplication of their magnitudes whenever the two vectors are parallel, because cos 0 is 1. So cosine of 0 is 1 for parallel vectors. Suppose if the two vectors are perpendicular to each other, suppose I have vector A here and another vector, if I take vector B, they are mutually perpendicular. Cosine of the angle between them is 90 degree. So cos 90 is 0. So if for two mutually perpendicular vectors, the dot product is always 0. If I want to say any two vectors are mutually perpendicular to each other, then I have to prove that their dot product is 0. If I prove that their dot product is 0, then it means that both the vectors are mutually perpendicular to each other. This is the second property. Then third one, the dot product. Yes, I will not very much here, just I will go through. The dot product obeys commutative. I can take the dot product A dot B or B dot A, I can take it. Then the dot product obeys distributive law also. I can observe A dot of the vector B plus C. Then this A is distributed among B and A is distributed among, means A dot B plus A dot C. You can take this, you can make use of this property whenever it is required. Then if I multiply the same, if means instead of two different vectors, if I take the dot product of the same vectors, vector A dot vector A. So by definition, magnitude of vector A, magnitude of the cos of the angle is 0 between them. So finally we will get the magnitude of the same vector square. It is magnitude of vector A square, right? Okay, these are unit vectors. Okay, in the rectangular coordinate system, already I have told the base vectors or unit vectors are Ax, Ay, Az. X, Y, Z, and the unit vector along x direction is Ax, and along y it is Ay, and Z it is Az. Observe the unit vectors. The angle between Ax and Ay is 90 degree. Ay and Az, the angle between unit vector Ay and Az is 90 degree. Az and Ax is 90 degree. Is it fine? So with this in the mind, we will take the dot product of the unit vectors. This property 6, dot product of unit vectors. So just I will write it here, ax for my reference, ax, ay, az. So in the clockwise direction, there is a reason for it why I am taking like this, and I will tell you. Just I will write like this. First all the 3 unit vectors. So okay, I have made a mistake. I have to put bar. Until and unless I put bar, they are not vectors, right? Okay, fine. Then I want to take the dot product of similar vectors. Similar vectors means I want to take ax dot ax, ay dot ay, az dot az, right? Okay, that is dot product of similar vectors. If I want to take the dot product of dissimilar vectors, means not same, ax dot ay dot az dot ax, dissimilar vectors. We'll see what will happen here. So here in property 6, ax dot ay. So ax dot ay, you can observe ax is here and ay. The angle between them is 90 degrees. So the cosine of the angle cos 90 is 0. So ax dot ay, they have written it is equal to ay dot ax dot az dot ax. Either you take, because it always commutative law, az dot ax, ay dot az, all will be 0. If I take a dot product of dissimilar vectors, the dot product will be 0, because cosine of 90 degrees is 0. If I take the dot product of similar vectors, that is ax dot ax, ay dot ay, az dot az, in property 7, because cosine of the angle will be say 0 degree, cos 0 is 1. So just I will show you. I'll show for 1, ax dot ax, similar vectors. By definition of dot product, magnitude of ax first vector, magnitude of second vector, that is ax only, then cosine of the angle cos 0 is 1. So magnitude of unit vector is 1 dot 1, that is equal to 1. You will get like this. Is it fine? Similarly for property 6, I will tell only for one vector, ax dot ay I want. Make use of the dot product, magnitude of ax vector, magnitude of second vector, ay vector, and cos of the angle cos 90 is 0. So finally it will be 0. Is it fine? Okay, you can calculate also, or else you can say directly the dot product of dissimilar vectors is 0, the dot product of similar vectors is 1. You can remember the statement, or you can use the dot product and get it. Yes, suppose if I have the two vectors in Cartesian coordinate system, vector A, general vector A, ax into ax plus ay into ay, az into az. I have another vector bx into ax, by into, I want to take the dot product of these two vectors. How to take it? So they have written a dot b vector. First they have written a vector and b vector. Just multiply. So what I will be getting, I'll write it here. In the next slide it is there, but I'll write here only. Vector a dot. See here. First I will multiply the first term with the first term. Ax dot ax. I know that ax dot ax is 1. So I will get ax into bx. Ax into bx. If I take the first product with second one, first term is ax dot ay will be 0. Ax dot az will be 0. So I will take the second term. Ay dot ax is 0. So ay dot ay, second term, it will be 1. So plus ay dot, so just observe and multiply, you will get ay, by. Okay, what happened? 1 minute. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, ay, by plus az, bz. I will get it. Just multiply and see, you will get this. Just observe here, the dot product of your two unit vectors is always a scalar quantity. Just multiplication of scalar component, ax, bx plus ay, by, az. You will get a scalar quantity. You will get some magnitude. So it is written here in the next slide. You can see here. It is written here. Is it fine? Yes. Then what are the applications of dot product? We have to see. Is it fine? Okay. Time is 11:10. Okay. Applications of dot product. After you will see the application and we will wind up this lecture. So first there are two applications of the dot product. First one is we can determine the angle between two vectors, because we know the definition, vector A dot product of two vector A dot vector B is equal to magnitude of vector A, magnitude of vector B, and cosine of the angle between them, cos of theta between them. Theta AB also you can write, or simply cos theta also you can write. If I want to find out the angle between the two vectors, just take these two terms and divide it here and take cos inverse. That is they have done here. Theta is equal to cos inverse of dot product of two vectors divided by multiplication of their magnitudes. In order to find out the angle between two vectors, you can make use of dot product. The next, this is very important. Just before explaining how to find out the component of a vector in a given direction, what is this? Before explaining these two diagrams, I want to tell you very clearly. Just observe here. Yes, I have some. Okay, I'll take one origin. Okay, then I will take p vector, then let me take q vector. I want to find out the projection of p vector onto q. The horizontal component, every vector has two components, horizontal component and vertical component. So this is along, if I take the projection of p vector onto q vector, it is horizontal projection, right, or scalar projection also we call it as. So p vector, the magnitude of p vector is just magnitude of p vector. I will write like this, right? So this is the magnitude, but they are not equal, magnitude of p vector, and the angle between p vector and q vector is theta, right? I want to take the projection of this p vector onto q vector. So simply I will write p cos it. Simply means this magnitude of p, simply I will write it as p. This indicates only magnitude. So finally I will get p cos theta, right? Then if I want the vertical component, this is q vector, this is p vector. Yes, this is, if I want vertical component, this is, then here it is, if theta is there, this is p cos theta, then here p sin theta I will get. By the geometry you already know this, right? P sin theta, if I take the projection of this here, right, this is p sin theta, and if I take the projection, this is p cos theta. Is it fine? P cos theta. But we are not worried about the horizontal component, just will worry about the horizontal component, not the vertical projection. So just coming to these two diagrams, I have vector p here, then another vector a is here. Then I want to find out what is the component of p vector along a vector. Along a vector, what is the unit vector? First I have to, along a vector, let me take the unit vector is a vector here. I have taken here, right? Unit vector is a vector. So what I will be getting? So the magnitude of p vector is, simply p, or else I can write, but instead of using this notation, always simply I will write p. P means it's the magnitude. So p cos theta I have to get here. If I take the projection, p cos theta I have to get. Fine. Let me see. They have written here. If I take the projection, I will get vector p dot vector a. A is the unit vector directed along a vector. So I am taking the unit vector. So just let me apply the dot product for this, p vector dot a vector. Apply the dot product definition. Magnitude of p vector into magnitude of a vector, next magnitude of a vector into cos theta. Magnitude of vector, simply I will write p. Magnitude of a vector is 1 because it is unity, and p cos theta. Yes, we are getting p cos theta. Yes, verified. Is it fine? So if I take the projection of p vector onto a vector, so what I will be getting? P dot a vector, and finally it is a scalar projection. Whatever I got, it is a scalar quantity. We call it as scalar projection, p cos theta. Then if I associate direction, the same diagram, this is the first diagram. In the second diagram, if I associate direction, means the component of vector p along the vector a, in the direction of vector a, if I ask like that, so p dot a, the dot product of the p vector and the unit vector directed along a vector, that is p dot a, in the first diagram we have seen, will get scalar quantity, and it is in which direction? That is once again in the a direction only. The unit vector along a vector is a vector, so just associate direction for it. P vector dot a vector, this will give you scalar projection. If you want vector projection, associate direction once again, right? So you calculate, you will get this. So first diagram will give me the scalar component, are also called as scalar projection. The second will give me the vector component or vector projection. So if I solve the numerical, I will understand very clearly there. Okay, after solving this, we'll wind up the class. We will solve the problem and we'll wind up the class. So given two vectors, vector a and vector b are given. Find the dot product and the angle between the two vectors, right? Okay, vector a is given, vector b is given. Find the dot product, vector a dot vector b. So it is not, we have seen, don't use the definition of dot product here, because this is general vector a, general vector b. So this is ax into ax, just general vector I am writing, ax into ax plus ay into ay, general vector I am writing here, plus az into az. This is vector a, general vector. Then general vector b, bx into ax plus by into ay plus bz into az. we know that the dot product of two general vectors is ax into bx plus ay into by plus az into bz. Just multiply the components, you will get the answer. So ax is 2 here and bx is 3. 2 into 3, 6. Then ay is minus 5 and by is plus 5. Minus into plus minus, 5 5 is 25. 5 into 5. Then az is minus 4, bz is 2. Minus 4 into plus 2. So minus into plus minus, 4 2 is 8. So you calculate this, how much you will get? 25, 35, 33. So how much you will get? Minus 27 you will get. Yes. So always we have seen the dot product of two vectors is a scalar quantity, right? So the answer is minus. So here I have written, we got it. Then next find out the angle between the two vectors. If you want to find out the angle between the two vectors, make use of the definition of dot product. Vector A dot vector B is equal to magnitude of vector A into magnitude of vector B into cos theta. So already A dot B, this is calculated in the previous step, that is minus 27. So first, before calculation, so first find out magnitude of vector A. So vector A I have, this is the vector A. So calculate the magnitude, under root of 2 square plus minus 5 whole square plus minus 4 whole square. You calculate and check it, how much you will get. Okay, this is sorry, I have to write magnitude of vector A. Similarly, you calculate magnitude of B vector. So under root of 3 square plus 5 square plus 2 square. So you will get some value. So you calculated, you know this vector A dot vector B, you know magnitude of vector A, you know magnitude of vector B. Then calculate cos theta. Cos theta is equal to vector A dot vector B divided by magnitude of vector A magnitude of vector B. So you know this magnitude of vector A and B, substitute here, and finally you calculate theta. Theta is equal to cos inverse of this entire quantity, whatever you calculate this quantity. So it turns out to be if I calculate 130.762 degrees. And while calculating, please keep your calculator in degree mode, right? If you keep it in radians mode and try to calculate, you will get some other answer. So always it is, just observe whether your scientific calculator is in degree mode or radians mode, right? So always keep your calculator in degree mode until and unless that specific numerical requires radians mode, right? So most of the times it will be degree mode, right? You calculate. Okay, we will wind up the class here, and any doubts you can